something that I've been pounding the table on for a long time. Talked about the breakout in crude. This whole period was bullish because it didn't give it up like here. Talked about the breakout. And, I had this trend line drawn way, way, way before hostilities began. And I also talked about what I've seen in the past in Gulf Wars and in Iraq. Um, that what happens is the market will start to rally into it and then peak upon the initiation of hostilities, which is exactly what happened Friday. And it went right to this trend line. Now, I know a lot of people are selling it here and think this might be it, and we're just going to, go to $40 now. I'm not in that camp. I think until it starts closing back under the breakout, you have to buy dips. So we take out 75, we're on our way to 80, maybe $95. So I maintain a bullish stance, even though I've booked profits even half a day early, liquidated the rest Friday, and looking for a pullback back towards maybe 67 to 65. Okay, I want to update you on the Dixie. Bought that Thursday. We covered all our dollar shorts, which was, the euro up here before we came off. And now we're challenging these highs again. It still looks like we're going to get a third drive, but there is some unfinished business. We did confirm this high in euro. And we never got to 1650. The high was 31. So maybe we're going to make this move to 1650. But let me get back to the dollar that we paid 97 and a quarter for this day last night, and that's why you have to go into the room. I said take half, and I'll probably be stopped out. I have a 97.20 break even stop on the rest. So I think the high was in the what's the high? 98.12. So that was good for about 80 pips, 90 pips, maybe, yeah, from 97.20. Okay, so took half, and we'll be stopped out. But if we do get a new low here in the Dixie, I'm going to try it again. Remember the three P's: probe with their stop. Second P, take partials. Third P, protect the remainder, which is a BE stop. And then I think the fourth P is going to come into play this week as well. Be persistent if you think that the trade still is setting up, even though you may have been a jiggle, a low, or a high earlier. So I'm going to have even more reason at new lows to give it a shot based upon this time in the euro. We'll have divergence. Okay. So that's where I stand on the dollar. I did buy some Canada. I'm about down 40 on Canada right now. Canada's one of the weakest. It's making new lows. But you can see we still have some divergence dating all the way back down to this low. It's flirting with 30, so it's got to turn tomorrow. I have a stop about 50 pips underneath here. If you want to be conservative, you know how I've taught you to trade throwovers, and you could call this a throwover, even though it's underneath it. You could say throw under. You could wait for closes back above the wedge line at 36 to buy it, because if that happens, I think 38 is viable. So that's where I'm at on the currencies, and that's where I'm at on WTI. Just want to go to rates here. Gold down 20, gold silver ratio is working pretty good. So gold didn't get to its old high yet, but I still think that it will. Silver's going to try and put in a new high here, but I wouldn't chase it, especially if we don't confirm up here. And let's get to yields. I still think yields are could break out over this formation. We have the Fed this week. Let's see what happens there. So kind of tread lightly this week. TLT, really not impressed. Shouldn't have done better with benign inflation numbers last week and flight to quality bid, at least for a while, on the S&Ps, which brings me to the S&P. So my line in the sand was tested again on Friday at 59.20 before we came back. This may have just been an ABC, and maybe we're going to push above this high that we have here at 60, 70, make some type of marginal new high, and then I'd be looking to short it. But again, the trap door under 59.20 will open up. And let's take a look at some of the Mag 7s and see how they're doing. Um, Gold shares under a little bit of pressure. They diverged, not Newmont. So it's probably a break to buy in that stuff. Let's take a look at the semis, see how they're doing today. Semiconductors are strong, but are they going to make a new high? They could, if we get up there to new highs. One thing I did notice is last week the banks really took it harder, and we left gaps in the XLF, and Bank of America, looks a little toppy. Be careful with the financials, especially the smaller banks. The KRE looks real vulnerable. So banks look to be sending a message that they're worried about something. And, I don't know if it's a credit issue or their book of long bonds that still are a ton, 16 tons on their back. But I did notice that last week may want to attempt shorts in banks when the S&Ps make a new high. Called this break in Bitcoin from up here. And this morning I tweeted out and posted to sell a rip towards 108, which I think can still happen. And you risk the highs here over 110, looking for 96 on the next decline. Uptrend will be violated at 104. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, same thing, pretty impulsive decline here. This to me looks corrected. Maybe you could get to 2,700. And let me take a quick look at XRP because I know you guys love this one too. To me, it looks like there still could be, well, this was a pretty good divergence. I guess over 230, it's going to look good, but with my view on Bitcoin, I still think there's a chance we take this out and look for new lows. So I'm not trading it. I'm just giving you guys my view. Thought I'd expand my coverage to crypto and join the crowd on that. So, I thought that there was a shot for something like this, but it looks like it's trying to put in a higher low. I guess if you want to be long XRP, you just risk these lows at 204. Because if we take out 204, then we're talking about targets like down here towards the speed line. Let's see what else is happening. Let's go to the Mag 7 quickly. Okay. So Amazon, I mean, the market's strong. Amazon's doing nothing. Apple has been doing nothing for months. Meta's, been one of the stronger ones, but, still could be some type of failing rally setting up here. And here's Google. I still think it looks like a flag and that, I wouldn't be long and I wouldn't add to longs unless we're back over 184. Here's Netflix. Is it going to try one more high? It's possible. Still looks vulnerable to me. Here's Microsoft. Can't fight it. Here's NVIDIA trying again, but diverging on the daily and on the 4 hour. And lastly, Uber up pretty good, up 2% today at 85.67, but still well under last week's lows. If we get that blow off new high in S&Ps, maybe it tries this area again, max 90, but back under 82, these lows right here, it's going to measure 70. So that's what I see, everybody. Check in the room. I'm going to be persistent in the dollar if stopped out. I looked at DSI. The dollar's been in the 20s for weeks, even with a 17 reading, and negative action only reinforces the bearishness, which I think they're going to be right. But I think there's one squeeze coming before we flush to one more low. So remember, most of all, don't just count your currencies. Don't just count your equities, count your blessings. See everyone tomorrow. I have lined up one of the best oil guys that I talked to. Anas El Haji is going to be back with us Wednesday to talk about the Strait of Hormuz and talk about what's happening there in the Middle East, what the Saudis are thinking. He has great inside knowledge on the oil market and has great contacts in the Middle East. So the TradeGateHub community is going to be edified by Anas El Haji on Wednesday, 10:30 Eastern. See you there. Adios.